Om. Om. स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। Let us pray for the well-being of all people, for the good health and strength of all our fellow citizens and others in the whole world. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। सर्वस्तरतु दुर्गाणि सर्वो भद्राणि पश्यतु सर्वसद्बुद्धिमाप्नोतु सर्वत्र नन्दतु। हरिः ओम्। May all be happy. May all be peaceful. May all be free from difficulties, free from danger, free from diseases. May all see what is good, listen what is good, speak what is good, do what is useful to others. May all be enlightened everywhere. May all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy everywhere. May all be peaceful everywhere. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Mentally offer your salutations to the all-pervading blissful spirit in any name or form you like. Let us offer our salutations to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi, Shraddha Swarupini, Shakti Swarupini, and embodiment of strength and confidence and divinity, Swami Vivekananda, and all great teachers, all great saints in the whole world, whose teachings we all have inherited. May they inspire us with love for the truth. Namaste to everybody. Very good evening. Shubha Sandhya, Susandhya. Having faith and hope and wish that all of you and your family and your friends, relatives, everybody are keeping well, strong, energetic, healthy, protected from the infection, internal or external, mental or physical. Let us enter into the third day of the course. Okay. Today is Wednesday, 7th of July. We are entering to the third course, third day. So before we proceed, one or two small points to share with you. I request our host, Supriya, please co-host Dr. Vivek Modi. All others, keep your camera open and steady also. Don't keep moving in your house and don't keep distracted. Just sit in one place and listen. This is a class. This is not simply a pastime. Harideep has not opened your video on the front screen. Okay. Today is 7th July and we are into the third day, but today is a very interesting day, very inspiring day, a day of tremendous confidence and faith, etc., and day of sacrifice. Some of you may be aware, general knowledge is today, 22 years ago, the Kargil war was raging in Kargil area, Batalik, Brass, Dras sector, etc. And today that Paramveer Chakra Vikram Batra's day, he sacrificed his life protecting the bunkers and took nearly hundreds of bullets into his body. You can imagine his confidence. Imagine, visualize the love that he had for the nation. Vivekananda said, love India. These fellows, young fellows, he was just 25 years old. Just 25. And there's a beautiful tribute brought out from one of the TV channels, which I shall play. Watch carefully. And the utmost faith and confidence and sacrifice. This is what Swamiji expected from our youth. Kshatra Viryam and Brahma Tejas. These are two hallmarks of confidence and character. Kshatra Viryam is the strength of a soldier, Kshatriya. Brahma Tejas, the meditation on Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham, Amritasya Putraha. These give us tremendous Shakti, tremendous orientation to plunge into death, not running away. A soldier will take bullet in his forehead. A soldier will take bullet in his chhati, not on his back. Like Abhimanyu, all of you should have Abhimanyu story in your mind and tell this to your children. Tell this to your family. Only cinema, only politics, only jealousy, only corruption. Eh? How will our nation grow? How will our nation develop the confidence? Think about it. So this video, 2 minutes plus few seconds, please watch. I think it when we played, I'm just sharing the screen. So this is a small tribute. All of us, all of you, including your family if they're by your side, just for 30 seconds, pray. Send positive vibrations to the father, mother, and brother of Vikram Batra who are alive. So we'll spend 30 seconds in chanting the Omkaram 5 times and think of the good of this great man at the age of 25 who sacrificed his life for the country. Okay, please sit straight, close your eyes, and think of that day, 7th July 1999. We are sitting in the comfort of our house in AC rooms and under fans, etc. But there, 17,000 feet at steep height of 80 degrees, this young man climbed up with his battalion and defeated the enemy. Om. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. O Lord, Hey Ramakrishna, Hey Bhagavan, please bestow strength, peace, joy, and good health to the father and mother of Vikram Batraji, and also to his brother who is alive and carrying on the family responsibilities, and all other Jawans, all other brothers who sacrificed their life in that very tragic war called the Kargil War, which all of us might have seen 22 years ago in our own houses. So today Vikram Batra's day, martyr day, and we pray for the welfare of the entire family and to give us strength and spirit of sacrifice to also do something for the nation before we die. Let there be peace within me, peace everywhere, and peace and strength in the whole world. So we'll continue now with our duty and our responsibility. I will read out a small passage uh, about that final sacrifice. Please listen carefully, full attention, please. 20 years ago, a letter from a village in Himachal Pradesh arrived at the Ministry of Defense. The writer was a school teacher and his request was as follows. He asked, if possible, could my wife and I be granted permission to see the place where our only son died, a heroic death in the Kargil war on the day of his death, Memorial Day on 7 July? It's okay if you cannot, if it is against national security, in which case I will withdraw my application. The department officer who read the letter said, it does not matter what the cost of their visit is, I will pay for it from my salary. If the department is unwilling to, and I will bring the teacher and his wife to the place where their only boy died, and he issued an order. On the Remembrance Day of the deceased hero, the elderly couple were brought to the ridge with due respect. When he was taken to the place where his son died, everyone on duty stood erect and saluted. But one soldier handed him a bunch of flowers, bowed and touched his feet, and wiped his eyes and saluted. The teacher said, you are an officer. Why do you touch my feet? Well, sir, said the soldier, I am the only one here who was with your son, and the only one here who saw your son's heroism on the field. The Pakistanis were shooting hundreds of bullets per minute with their HMG. 5 of us advanced to a distance of 30 feet, and we were hiding behind a rock. I said, sir, I am going for the death charge. I am going to take their bullets and run to their bunker and throw the grenade. After that, you all can capture their bunker. I was about to run towards their bunker, But your son said, "Are you crazy? You have a wife and children. I am still unmarried. I will go. Do the death charge, and you do the covering." And without hesitating, he snatched the grenade from me and ran into the death charge. Bullets fell like rain from the Pakistani HMG. Your son dodged them, reached the Pakistani bunker, took the pin out of the grenade, and threw it right into the bunker, sending 13 Pakistanis to their death. Their assault was over, and the area came under our control. I lifted your son's body, sir. He had 42 bullets in him. 42 bullets. I lifted his head in my hand. With his last breath, he said, "Jai Hind." I asked the superior to give the permission to bring his coffin to your village, but he refused. Though I never had the privilege of putting these flowers at his feet, I have the privilege of putting them at your feet, sir. The teacher's wife was crying softly into the corner of her pallu, but the teacher did not cry. The teacher said, "I bought a shirt for my son to wear on when he came to leave, but he never came home and he never will. So I brought it to put it where he died. Why don't you take it and wear it for him, beta?" The Kargil's hero was Captain Vikram Batra. His father's name is Giridhar Lal Batra. His mother's name is Kamal Kanta. My dear friends, these are our real heroes who make others aware of this supreme sacrifice. See the history, how it has been put on rocks, put on tremendous strength. Let us not lead a false life. That is confidence. That is our character. No hypocrisy, no hypnotism, no covering, no show business. Be true, be real. So this Maya, this Avarana has to go. That boy, Vikram Batraji at 25, was very clear. He knew that he will die. It's not a cinema, you see. Kargil, LOC cinema, border cinema, made by all the Khans and all that Bollywood stars in a studio. But here, live, we saw 42 bullets. And what did he say to his father? Vikram Batraji said, "Either I come back with flag in my hand, or I will come back with flag on my body. But I will come." He came with a flag on his body. And he saved another man called Captain Nagappa from Karnataka, from Bangalore. I spoke to Captain Nagappa last year. Nagappa and Vikram Batra were together with few seconds gap. If Nagappa had thrown a shell, that bomb on the enemy, this man would have been saved. But Nagappa threw it into the bunker. But what happened? It hit a rock and came back on Nagappa. Within 5 feet, it blasted. Nagappaji's both legs had to be amputated. And he was suffering there, bleeding there, flesh only. He could not move an inch, Captain Nagappa. Vikram Batra took the responsibility, pushed Nagappa aside, and took all the bullets on his body and made Nagappa, ordered Nagappa to get down and go back to the base camp. So Nagappa says with tears in his eyes, I could see my senior taking the bullets and saving me. So my dear friends, participants of this self-confidence and character building course, take some higher goal, higher purpose. Some say, why did you join the confidence course? I want to speak well. Life itself is that don't worry about speaking well or just platform talk or some lollipop and popcorns. Don't be so satisfied with small things. Abdul Kalam was not a great speaker. In the sense, his English, lot of mistakes, grammar mistakes. But his heart was speaking, right? So it is not your English or it is not your dress or it is not your degree that matters. It is your confidence and character matters. It is a very important day. in videos in YouTube about Kargil war. Vikram Batra's interviews and all are there. His father's interview and his family interviews are there. After the class is over, please spend some time and watch this and download, and such news should go in media. All right, to your friends, at least in your WhatsApp and Telegram and your Instagram and other Facebook accounts, whatever you have, use it for some interesting purpose, use it for inspiration, use it for confidence. I request all of you. So, and there's a wonderful book also, the Kargil Folklore. Please note down Kargil Folklore. From day 1 till July 24th, 25th, what happened? It's like it's as if it is happening in front of you, beautifully told by people who are living, people who survived. Kargil Folklore. Folklore means tales, stories of those who lived. It's available in Amazon. It's available in Flipkart. You can get it online and have a hard copy of that book. Don't expect only soft copy. Kargil Folklore. Please purchase it and share it with others also. You read, underline, get the inspiration. Today morning also I was reading. Today evening also I was reading that. And next 20 days is very important. Kargil Folklore. Yeah. Right. So this is the inspiration today, self-confidence today. We'll go forward with our faculty, senior faculty, Dr. Vivek Modi. Dr. Modi, welcome to the course. Where are you?
Pranam Swamiji.
Yes.
Can you see me? Yes.
Welcome. You are there. So inspiring day today. Great sacrifice. Vikram Batra and his colleagues. Dr. Vivek Modi will give the class today. You had 2 days from Pawan Deshmukh. We got a lot of ideas, a lot of inspiration, and something to think about. Food for thought, Hunter. Food for thought. So today, Dr. Vivek Modi is an expert in this field. He is a doctor. Doctor matlab doctor, medical doctor, not PhD. A doctor by profession, completed his MBBS, but did not go into the only treatment few patients a day, but is treating the minds and character and the values of youngsters in our institute and other places. So he is connected with us last 10, 12 years. Wonderful person, great at heart and spiritual life. His brother also, a great scientist, worked in Germany, came back to India, understanding the truth of life. So I requested Dr. Vivek Modi to speak on this solid topic of character and self-confidence and how each one of you can become a better personality, better human being. So he has joined us from, he's in Hyderabad only. And last week also he was there. Some of you attended, will appreciate his lessons, personality development. And now he will speak on this focus topic called self-confidence and character building. Over to Dr. Vivek Modi. Namaste, good evening, Shubha Sandhya. Shubha
Pranam
Sandhya.
Swamiji. Pranam.
Yes, thank you. Please carry on. Field is yours.
Thank you, Swamiji. My pranams to Holy Trio and my namaskars to all the participants today there and all the volunteers. So, as Swamiji told, the auspicious day, and what was there, if you just have a look at what could have gone in the mind of Vikram Batra, how was he so different than many of us? If we just try to focus, actually we can get a clue about how somebody becomes so confident that there is not even the fear of death. So the topic is very specific today. We have to build self-confidence, but then there is a role of character into it. Now, many definitions of character people try to give as per their understanding, because there is no standard definition here. A bundle of good habits or bundle of habits as such. If they are good, good character. If they are not good, you'll say there is a scope of improvement. Now, first and foremost, we need to understand that why the confidence is low in few people. What is the reason? For most people in today's world, when I'm saying most people who are attending this, the reason is not usually that I'm having low confidence because I don't know how to do things. It's not a knowledge challenge. Let us say I don't know something, but I have tools in today's world to learn that thing. So information, authentic, good information is available at ease. It's not very difficult in today's world. So that is not the reason for most of the people who are attending this program. Then the second reason for many people is I do not have enough resources. I do not have support system. If the time permits, I will tell you those step-by-step things also. But first, let's focus about this fundamental thing, root cause. That is there a problem that I don't have resources? Maybe I do not have resources as much as I would like to have. But it's not the case that I don't have resources at all. For most people, that is not the primary challenge. Then what's the challenge? The challenge is I know what will help me in my life. I know most of us, the people sitting here, you are all experienced people. You've seen life. And if I ask you what you have to do in order to improve your life, tell me 1, 2, 3 things. I'm sure all of you are aware. I have to do this, this, this. And to do this, what are the other steps I have to go? Go to level 2. That also most of us are aware. It's not that we don't know. Then what's the problem? The problem is I know what to do. I also want to do that, but somehow I don't have confidence to do that. Somehow I'm not able to do that. Now, when it comes to this, it becomes a real challenge because now I know what is my problem. I know what is the solution. I have some of the resources, and if I try a little bit, I can actually arrange more resources. I even have some of the people who are sympathetic, empathetic to me to help me. But still, there is something with me that I'm not moving. I'm not taking action. I know I have to do 1, 2, 3 things every day to improve my life. Don't we know we should exercise every day? Don't we know we should read good books? We should get into connection with right people. We should invest our time in skills. We should limit our consumption of social media, especially the aimless consumption. We all know this. But even after knowing, how many of us are able to actually follow that? Every smoker knows smoking is bad. It's there written right on the cigarette packet. Every alcohol addict knows it's going to harm that person. But still, he or she keeps on giving excuses and keeps on consuming it. This is the biggest reason of low confidence. When my subconscious mind thinks that do not take this person seriously. Let us say you have attended these sessions. Some of you feel very inspired to take action. And after the session, you make a pledge that tomorrow onwards, I will get up early morning and I will exercise because exercise is extremely important for physical and mental fitness. And that will give me more confidence. If I have a solid body, good mind, obviously I'll be confident. So let us say you determine this today night, like 10 p.m. before sleeping, you're putting it in your notebook, and that's what you're saying. Now, what happens even when you are putting it in the notebook, even when you are noting it down, there is a part of you, there's that subconscious, which would create a doubt. And what's the doubt? The doubt is, are you sure? Haven't you tried this earlier? Last time also you tried, you will do this, you will do that. You started using that particular kind of diet, you started reading that book, but you could not go beyond 3 days, 4 days, maybe a week or two. How many times you made a plan and you did not succeed? So even when you are writing in the notebook, somewhere your subconscious is suggesting it will not happen. It's not your cup of tea. Because whatever we do, positive or negative, and whatever, more importantly, and that's where the character comes into picture, whatever we think, we intend, intention, our subconscious is noting everything. It doesn't forget. It is just recording everything. And accumulation of all those intention, accumulations of all those actions or no actions, accumulations of all those promises which I made to myself. See, I can understand if somebody tells me to do something and I don't do, I can understand. Oh, my parents told me to do something I didn't do. I can understand that also. I can say, now I'm an adult person. I can think for myself. So I will only decide. Swamiji told me to do something, and still I may say that, no, I don't feel like doing that. But then when I decide to do something, I make a promise to myself, and then I do not follow it, then my subconscious gets a big, big doubt, question mark. And it understands. It understands and it tells to itself, don't take this person seriously. Don't take this person called Dr. Vivek Modi seriously, because he keeps on saying he's a loose talker. Subconscious understands. So every time we break a promise which was made to self, we are somewhere reducing in our confidence. We are somewhere hitting on the confidence. That is one of the root causes, that I made a plan and I did not follow. Forget about the result. I did not even follow the process. I took a decision and I did not put forth my action. I did this, and I again concluded nothing. In fact, many people, they get into, enroll themselves into a course, steps to build self-confidence or personality development or many such courses. And by the time third session comes, they feel like giving excuse. So father asks, hey, what happened to your session today? It's already 6:50. Aren't you joining the session? No, I have some other important thing. Even 5-day commitment, which I gave to myself, which was my decision, I'm not able to follow. This sense of casualness is one of the costliest thing actually we do. This is the most expensive thing to indulge into, because that is what is going to hit our confidence. Otherwise, we all know, if I do something step by step, if I can bring something in a very systematic way, in a processed way, things will happen. Whoever puts the formula doesn't care. I have to improve a particular skill. I may take, maybe somebody is doing it in 3 months, I may need 6 months. That is possible. But if I do it in 6 months, still it will happen, isn't it? The question is, do I have the patience? Do I have the control? Do I have the confidence to put my action for next 6 months? That's where the question mark comes. Now, how is it connected to character? If you look from one side, from one angle, we say that children are the purest form in terms of, when we say in our adult life, our human life, we say when we are children, we are very, very innocent. Okay. We also say the natural state of humankind is Satchit Anand. Originally, we are actually what Swamiji used to say, Amrutasya Putraha. That's what our philosophy is. We're not born sinner. So originally, that's what we are. That means whatever I am originally, if I can maintain that intention, and if I do not let the gap between what I think, what I intend, what I say, and what I do increase, if I just maintain that straight line, I will automatically have good character. Because seed is, I am a person or I am an entity who is naturally most capable, who is naturally Satchitananda. If I am that, then I just have to express it in this life. And for that matter, the integrity of intention becomes the root. Integrity of intention becomes the root. My intention is I want to attend this class. Okay. Is that your attention? Is that your intention? No. My real intention is I want to actually improve my confidence. My real intention is there is something in me which is not happy with myself and I want to improve that. And for that, I'm looking for the classes, I'm looking for the courses, I'm looking for the organizations, I'm looking for the people who can inspire me, who can tell me to do something. That's what all of us are looking for. Why are we looking for so? Because somewhere my intentions are not in the alignment to my action. I take a decision and I don't follow it up. And when I don't follow it up, I am every time I do this thing, I am damaging my self-confidence. So all those people who have low confidence, somewhere at the bottom of their heart, they are aware that if only I could put up the action, what I decided, I'm lesser than no one. But the problem is I don't have the discipline to take action. And the root cause of it, that at the intention level, there is somewhere integrity is lacking. While I'm telling myself I have to attend this session, but at the same time in my mind there is that, okay, I can just keep looking that one full Facebook reel, that one Insta message. So if there is a pop-up here and there, my eyes go here and there, and I want to entertain myself, indulge into those things. At the same time, I want to see this also. I want to do this also, I want to do that also. I don't want to pay the cost of learning something. They say no pain, no gain. I don't want to give my undivided attention to learn something. That intention is lacking. ठीक है ना, online class है, camera off करके बैठ जाएंगे. What is there? I can have my dinner. I can do anything. It will just keep running. And at the end, again, if something is happening, if camera has to go on, I'll come and sit. While nobody else is going to watch you, but it's subconscious is observing. No? Subconscious is knowing. Is it sincerity? Subconscious is aware of it. And please understand, there's a saying, it doesn't matter, you know, where you shape your attitude. Attitudes are contagious. If it is reflecting in one part of your life, the same attitude would reflect in other part of it. So tomorrow I take a decision, I make a promise to someone. I'm making a promise, but in back of my mind, the integrity of intention is not there. I'm not even clear. Oh, I'm making that promise, but do I have the time to fulfill that? No, I have not thought about. I'm very casual about that. Why? Because that casual attitude will have that spillover effect everywhere else in my life. So, it's like Swamiji used to say, if I have to judge a man, I have to just see the way he keeps his chappals outside, his slippers outside. If that is not there, then everything else will be actually visible. How am I when I'm alone, when nobody's watching? How do I behave? How do I sit? How do I eat? When I'm alone, how do I do something? Do I have that kind of integrity inside? If that is not there, then I am all the time putting up a facade and acting. Some of us may be doing it 10%, some of us maybe 50%, some of us maybe 90%. But that's what is in our game. If we want to improve that, then we have to cut down this. And we have to see that our natural goodness comes in front of the world. We have to start giving this too much overwhelming importance, towards shiny objects. Everyone must clap for me. Everyone must praise me. This intense, this desire, what we have. If you don't give up, then you start playing a double role. And once you start playing a double role, you have sown the seed of confusion to your subconscious mind. Bolna kuch hai, karna kuch hai. Bolna kuch hai, karna kuch hai. And the more and more conflicting intention I put, the weaker and weaker will be my willpower, my desire to do something. Because that's what the subconscious mind has got. When the clarity is lacking, I do not have confidence. When I don't have clarity in anything, I seek approval from the world. So no matter what I do, I want approval. Do you know how did I do this? I make a post. I'm looking eagerly how many people watched it, how many people liked it, what are people talking about me. I am seeking approval. Why am I seeking approval? Because somewhere in me, within me, I'm not satisfied. Somewhere I'm not 100% sure about whatever I am. So I want world's approval. This is a sign that somewhere internally the roots have not yet developed. I'm aiming to get fruits before I have developed the roots. I'm not grounded enough in my originality. And what happens if we give up our originality? What will happen? You give me your 10th class original certificate. I give you a Xerox copy of my MBBS degree. Tell me, is it a fair transaction? Xerox copy of MBBS degree, original certificate of your 10th class. Is it a fair? Yes, no? Come on. Fair deal? Let me see in the chat box. How many of you would agree? You can use the chat box. How many of you would agree? How many of you would want my MBBS certificate, Xerox copy, in exchange of original 10th class certificate? Come on, I'm looking at the chat box. Is chat allowed? Okay. So maybe people are shy. Okay, I can see a hand raise only. Okay, hand raise means what? Are you okay for your 10th class original certificate to be traded with a Xerox copy of MBBS certificate? Okay, all the people are raising hand. I do not know. Maybe there is an issue with typing. So obviously, Xerox is Xerox. You cannot compare it with the original. And no matter how good I become a copy of anyone. Okay, if you are, let us say, if in your DP, okay, in your Instagram or Facebook or whatever, if you're using any social media, if you're keeping a DP of your favorite hero, somebody else, okay, then somewhere it is reflective that I want to be like that person. I want to keep that picture. What I have to understand is it is utmost important for me to learn this fact that no matter how much I try to be like others, I can never be better than my best. Unless I start respecting what I am today in my originality, I will never be able to really build what I can say organic confidence. There is synthetic confidence. Swamiji was talking, no? Talking nicely, confidently in English in front of the people, all that. Fake it, we can do. That's all performance. Performance doesn't require integrity. Performance is just performance. That's all skill game. You do something for long enough, you start doing that. But that doesn't make me internally. I told you, subconscious knows everything. What is the performance and what is reality? So it's very, very important for me to first understand this. That can I be little more true to self? Little more true to self, not to the world, to self. Okay. To whom I am showing these things, to whom I want to impress. After all, there is only one life I have got to be me. Is it not? Even if I'm born again, even if there is Punarjanma of me, I will not be born as Dr. Vivek Modi to the family I am born to and to the country I am and to the place I'll not be born to this. I've got only one chance. And I've got only one chance. Why spend this life only in emulating others, only seeking validations from others? Okay. So think about this factor. If this root gets corrected, slowly, there will be a, what I will say, a feeling of liberation. A lot of stress. Why do we build? Why people have this stress, constant stress, as if some burden is there? It is because of the split. What is the split? The gap between what I am in front of the world and what I am in my reality. The more this split, the more will be the burden which I am carrying. So whole day I'm putting a facade in front of people, and when I come alone, when I sit, then I can just relax. So the more I bring this split, I reduce the split narrow and narrow, the more original I can remain in front of the world, more peace I will get, more sorted I will be, more clarity I would have. And once that happens, rest of the things will happen step by step by step. Because once a person is super clear within self, there's something magical happens. Even if that person is imperfect. Look at Bhagwan Sri Ramakrishna's life. Even young Narendranath doubted. Okay. Because Bhagwan Sri Ramakrishna was not trying to act anything. Oh, I'm a divine person and so many people should come. No. That's the beauty, actually. If you look at that, many things may not be very appealing to today's youth. But if you look at from a different angle, how much original, how much careless about what world thinks, what definitions this world has given a person can be within, of course, a right framework. Get that example. And that's why they are fearless, because they have nothing to hide. They are not seeking approval from the world. They are not seeking, when they are talking to someone, that I must make him understand and make him prove my point. Only when he says yes, only when he says yes, I agree with you, then I won, otherwise I have lost. That sense, why the sense comes? It actually comes because it reeks of that low confidence. That is why I want the whole world to be like me, think like me. Anybody is like me, I say, wow, good. Anybody is not like me, I immediately, feel like, there is a kind of wall, invisible wall. If that is happening, that means I've still not become this person who realizes the importance of my own existence. Now the question comes, but sir, lot of mistakes have happened. I'm feeling guilty. By now I should have done this, I should have done that. Look at my cousins, look at my friends, look at my colleagues. I see they have really gone ahead in the life. But I did a lot of mistakes. Many people are into this guilt trip, Oh, I wasted my life. Oh, I wasted my time. I want you to realize, if you're genuinely interested to come out of it, if that is the reason which is not letting you be at ease, if you're genuinely interested, then first and foremost thing is to forgive yourself. How everybody else deserves forgiveness, you also deserve forgiveness. And more than others' forgiveness, you deserve your own forgiveness. This is important so that you can correct everything which went wrong earlier. If you are carrying the burden of guilt, if you are carrying the burden of past failures, past comments, somebody's misdeeds, if you're carrying that, oh, that person did wrong with me, whether you did wrong with someone or someone did wrong with you, if you're carrying that weight, then you are actually spoiling your present. And once I spoil my present, my future automatically gets affected by it. Remember this famous saying, there are no saints without a past and no sinners without a future. No saints without a past, no sinners without a future. You have learned about Angulimal, right? You've learned about Valmiki. We know many such stories where seemingly atheists, seemingly all kind of wrongdoing people went on to become some great contributors to this world. When we know, just a minute, I'm getting disturbance, just a minute. I'm sorry about that. So the thing is, I have to come out of that guilt trip. पुरानी गलतियां हैं उसको माफ करो. Forget what has happened. What is over is over. And if you look from another angle, different perspective, what is human life? Human life is only the momentary experience. Human life is only the momentary experience. No, sir, it is 60 years, 70 years, 80 years. Where is that 60 years now? Where are your last 20 years? Where are your last 15 years? They are a chemical reaction in your mind. 8,600 crore neurons filled with all kind of memories. They are mere chemical reaction. A hard disk is not a computer. Hard disk is just the data. If you have to give some definition, computer may be a motherboard, but not the hard disk. Do not think that memory will change anything. No one can change your past, including God. This power is not there with anyone. So if I'm carrying that burden, whether successful past, happy or sad, if I'm carrying it too long, that's not a very intelligent thing to do. So from that angle, life is only one moment. And if life is one moment, that means what? I have to see, I have to appreciate this fact that today is the first day of rest of my life. Today is the first day of rest of my life. Let me start fresh. And you know what happens when you start thinking of like this, starting fresh? Look at the difference between the handwriting on your first page of notebooks and the pages later on. Look at the difference. Look at the difference between any action which you do or any act which you do in the beginning. Visiting to a new place, getting into a new company to work, relocating your home. Whenever there is beginning of something, you are conscious, you have a hope of building something very good. New year comes, we do resolutions. This year will be great. This year I will do this. Companies set their target after every quarter. Why? Because there is a sense of clear demarcation between past and present. I'm telling you, why do you wait for your birthday? Why do you have to wait for Diwali or New Year? This 7th July, about 6th July today, right? 7th July. 7th July, 7:11 p.m. 2021 is as unique as any other moment in this history of the world. This will never come again. This is gone. So if we are living only 1 second, why should I spoil unnecessarily my future or my present? Because there is something in the past nagging. At least humankind has this ability. At least as human being, we have this ability to completely disassociate our past with our present and future. And we have ample examples such. There's so many such examples where people were completely different in their earlier life and became completely different in their later life because they could realize this fact. I don't have to carry the burden of my past. Otherwise, whole life is determined, no? फिर करने का क्या है? When everything is going to be influenced just how I lived my past and that will only reflect in my future, then what's the point of having this human life? The point is, I have the willpower to change it. I have the, just a minute. Yeah, so think about this, disassociating your past and your future. That will help you in a long, take you a long way. So it's already 7:15. Now there are two options. I have a small presentation where there are 4 steps given, but I think it would be good to take some questions. So I leave it to you. If you feel like you want to hear me only more, then I'm okay with that. I can start a presentation, or I can just read out from my presentation the key points, or else we will do at least this 20 to 25 minutes of Q&A here. So thank you so much for listening to me. And now you can ask your questions, doubts, your inputs.
Thank you very much, sir, for the session. Sir, your PPT, could you share it with all the participants through their mail, sir, with your permission? And now we could take a couple of questions like.
Okay, actually PPT is not, if you have my earlier PPT, you can use that, because this PPT has, some other personal information, which
Okay,
at this
yes,
stage
sir.
I cannot share, especially, with the audience. So I can share, play it through now if they want once, but then if there are questions, let's take that first.
Okay, sir. All the participants, whoever has a question can unmute themselves and ask sir their question.
If I am not confident of asking a question, either there are no question or there is lack of confidence of asking a question. So after 3 days, that's not a good sign. Come on, take a chance. Any thinking mind will have a lot of doubts, questions, comments to make after listening at least for last 40 minutes, whatever I've said. I can see hand raises, but I do not know. Are they permitted to unmute and all? Is that permission given?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think that's not happening. Let's do one thing then. In that case, I will just run through my presentation. I'll try to share the screen. This is again.
So they could unmute themselves now, I guess.
Now,
Yes, sir.
Hello.
yes, now we are able to unmute ourselves. Still now it is.
So previously there is no access.
Okay, now you have, so you can ask the question.
Hello.
Thank you.
Sir, good evening, sir. Nice talking to you. Good స్పీచ్ చాలా బాగా ఇచ్చారు సార్, చాలా బాగా అర్థమైంది మీరు చెప్పింది. నెక్స్ట్ మాకు ఇంటర్వ్యూస్ కి ఇంకేమైనా స్కిల్స్ కొంచెం వేరే ఏమైనా ఉంటే కూడా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయండి. కాన్ఫిడెంట్ అంటే ఏంటో అర్థమైంది, సో అలా డిఫరెంట్ గా.
Okay. What's your name? Can you please?
Monica.
Monica, probably the hint I get is you are looking for facing an interview and you want to be confident in that, isn't it?
Yeah, yes.
So I have gone, actually today's session is much deeper than these aspects, but
Yes.
it's an important question and many people may have the same thing.
Yes, sir.
So-
Really, I want to ask, but there is a no time. Yesterday, sir was run the before the before day section is half an hour. Next 20 minutes only next day. So to yesterday day was totally spoiled. So today I'm asking for you. Mm,
Do not give that definition to any session.
yeah,
No
yeah.
session is spoiled. It depends on.
Sir,
Anyways, that
yesterday,
I understand.
yeah. Mm.
Okay, so here is the thing. When you're giving an interview, when you're giving a looking for a job somewhere,
Yeah, yes, sir.
important aspect is please unmute. Others can mute yourself so that there is no disturbance in between. Now we need to understand with clarity here this thing. See, the trap for most people happen because they are desperate for job. They're looking for some kind of job. The still that mentality that since now I have completed my graduation or I have a degree or I am of certain age, I deserve to go and get the job. I want the youth today to understand this. I know it's difficult for me, even though I say people will not be able to understand it because that maturity will take some own time, its own time. But please see, the world has changed in a very big way, and there are huge opportunities for the youth. When you're going for interview, my humble suggestion to the youth is number one, go with this clarity about it, what do I want. Unfortunately, most youth whom I talk with, they don't ask or they don't even have the clarity about what they want, what value they can add, what that 1 2 3 things they can do actually. If you ask them, sir, I have done this, I have done that, what you have done, I'm not asking, I'm asking what you can do. And with that clarity, the second step I need to understand is what is the requirement of this. I may know certain skill, I may know certain computer language, but is it required today or not? So is there a need, is there an interest in the market about this? Please mute others, please mute. Whoever has asked the question also, please mute for some time till I'm speaking so that there is no disturbance. Please mute your microphone, still there is some background noise. So I have to ask this question to myself first, what do I want? That clarity if I don't have, then you will never have the real confidence. You can have a synthetic confidence, fake it till you make it. There are so many steps to do that, okay? But that synthetic confidence is again, it's a way to trap you into short termism. Somehow I crack the interview, somehow I speak well there, somehow I give the answers which are given to me by my coaches. Again, you are getting into the same, your journey itself is happening on a very weak background, a very weak what I can say, foundation. Don't do that. I would say you are confident the moment you think, I'm going to just say who am I, what I have done, and what I can do. These three things you have to say effectively in any interview. Okay. And if you're clear about these three things, who am I, how to introduce about myself, okay, what have I done till now, that's my history of work, achievements, whatever it is, and what can I do, can I say this with confidence? Now the problem is, the doubt is, if I say this, will he take me? If I do this, will he take me? What if others do this? That's where the moment you're getting into this confusion about what they want and what I have to do, you are giving up your power, your confidence. If you are clear that this is what I can do and this is where the value will be created, nobody will give you a job just because you have a degree. Those days are gone. And even if they give, it is not going to be for long. People give me job because I know to do some work. Now
Yes,
it could
yeah,
be for someone.
you're too, sir.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
So
everyone experience and everything, but is it true?
good question about experience, because this is another question many students, I mean, you have given the hint, reminded me. Many students tell me, sir, they are asking me about experience. Now, if they don't even give me job, how will I get experience? This is a big question. And there are people who are sitting for quite some time waiting. I have applied for 50 companies, 60 companies, 100 companies. I'm waiting for interview calls. I'm giving interviews after interviews. It has become their favorite pastime. And what are they doing during they get calls? Sitting and waiting. My here suggestion is go with this mindset. Next 6 months, I will give, and give. Okay. Well, how about money, sir? Forget money for 6 months. Forget money at least for 6 months. I'm saying, just go with one intention. The moment you become a giver, your confidence is already high. The moment I'm going with a begging ball or with that mindset, oh, they have to give me something, then I'm becoming weak. Now, what is the meaning of giver? I go to a company and I say, sir, I'm a fresher. My marks are not very good. I've been a very average student, but I have the attitude to learn and desire to do whatever I need to do. I will do that. And he'll say, no, there is no need. Sir, I'm not asking you any salary. I'm not asking you anything. Just give me a chance to work at your place. I'll prove myself. Okay. And do this. Till you get any other job, at least do this at the place where you think you can learn certain things. You can get the exposure. It's very important to get the exposure. Do this for 6 months. You don't need skills. You need just right attitude. Especially for the beginners, they are hired for attitude. They are not hired for skills. If anybody is thinking that it is because of the skill I'm being hired, at least at initial level, that is not happening much. Okay. Recently, I was in a conversation on this new social media Clubhouse. So there was a person who has come after like 20 years of HR experience. He told something very interesting. He told that, in last 20 years, I've hardly fired 3 or 4 people on count of their skills. I fired most people because their attitude was not good, because they do not have the right way, or teamwork was not good or whatever, but not at the count of skill. Skills you will learn if you have a little bit of dedication. I told you, our brain is good enough to learn anything, provided we give that right intention to it. It can do anything. So go with this attitude of giving for 6 months. You see where is your confidence, because now you are sitting in that interview chair, you're talking to that person with the attitude is, I am here to give you value. And if you can prove to any company that you are a person who can be trusted, who may not have very good skills presently, who may not even speak very well, but who has complete desire to work hard and in the best interest of company, you will be an asset to the company. And no good company would let go such employees. I have many such examples, many where ordinary skilled people have really achieved great heights because they showed great attitude towards their work. So that if comes, the confidence will be natural. Of course, you need to learn skills. I need not tell that you need to improve your communication skill. All those things you need to improve, but this is not the class for that. Yes.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
There is this famous saying that do what you love or love what you do. And it is very difficult to love what we do when we not identify ourselves with what we do. It is being difficult to concentrate, and when I'm unable to concentrate, there is a effect on my confidence. So have to love what we do.
Very good question. The fundamental thing here is adopting a philosophy which will keep me happy in life. That's the fundamental thing. Adopting a philosophy which will keep me happy in life. Happy doesn't mean I'll not be successful. I'll just be happy. No. When I'm happy, in fact, I'm more involved and I can give better output. So that's the philosophy. Okay. Now let us say, first thing, do what you love. Obviously, that's the best choice. If there is an option, I have to do what I love to do. Because there is an advantage that naturally I love certain things, and therefore it will be easy for me to do that. But let's say the second scenario, love what you do. If the option is not there, if I do not have an option to give up what I'm doing, if the circumstances do not permit me, then obviously the next best choice is I have to start learning or start loving what I do. Now the question comes is, why don't I like something? is human mind capable of turning the views or liking or disliking very easily? The answer is it's not easy, but it's not impossible. In fact, quite a few people have done that. How do we start loving things? There's a wonderful book by Viktor
Sorry
Frankl.
for interrupting, sir. But
Please
just
mute yourself.
for
So the book's title is Man's Search for Meaning. You feel happy when no matter what you do, you find meaning in that. So when a mother sacrifices everything for her children, or when a father works very hard, to give a good life for the children, it is not that his hard work is not making him, uncomfortable, but there is a meaning in that. And that's why there is a sense of happiness, inner happiness. Yes, physical struggle will be there, okay, but inner happiness is there. So I have to first find the meaning in my work. Whatever I'm doing, why it is good, why is it adding value, is it giving livelihood to someone, is it serving some need or somebody's concern or somebody's interest, is it happening? If that clarity is not there, if you just take it that, oh, I have to go office, punch my card and do what my boss says, you are giving a very mechanical meaning. We cannot feel the higher sense of happiness, just by doing routine things. This is what the hierarchies, a Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you read that, in that also it is mentioned. We need a higher purpose in something. So if I'm doing this thing and if I give the definition to myself, oh, Dr. Vivek Modi, a professional speaker or a wellness educator who is doing these workshops and this and that and that. And why am I doing this? If I tell that, oh, I'm doing it because I have to earn money. Now, that may be a reality. Up to an extent, yes, money is required. But if that's the only reality, if that's the only reason, then I lose my interest very soon. Very soon I'll become casual about it. Because money can be earned 1,000 ways. For that, you need not become a doctor or read books or do so many things. So give a meaning to whatever work you're doing. And how do I give a meaning? You give a meaning by trying to understand all the benefits of it. Who are the people getting benefited by it? How am I doing this? That small thing. Have you heard that story of a squirrel, trying to put, help while building the bridge when Ramji wanted to go to Lanka? And what happened in that? She says that, I am doing my contribution. That's an insignificant contribution, but the meaning is that's happening for a higher purpose. So please see, no matter what work we are doing, when you start giving right meaning, you start finding reasons to get involved into it. And that's how, in the most difficult, if you read that book, Man's Search of Meaning, this person stayed in Hitler's concentration camp. One of the worst thing to be in, worst place to be in and times to be in. But even there, he survived because he gave himself a different meaning. So look towards that whatever I'm doing, does it have some good output? And if you can find that, slowly, there will be enough reasons to feel happy about that. Yes. Also challenge yourself. There's another book called Flow. I just mentioned that, Flow. It says you feel involved into something only when you are challenged appropriately. If I'm doing something which is extremely difficult for me, I cannot enjoy. If I'm doing something which is too casual for me, not at all, too simple for me, then also I'm not going to enjoy. If I'm doing something where my challenge is optimal, I'm challenged a little bit. And when I actually win over that challenge, I feel that sense of happiness. That's called the right calibration of target. So let us say somebody is brushing, but if he starts brushing consciously, I'll brush like this, I'll brush like that. Even there, that person can get involved because there's an aim. I have to do something like this. So try to apply these two things. Try to give a meaning and try to give a right kind of challenge. So you can feel involved.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
How can we build our self-confidence and character? How can we build increase our self-confidence and make our character?
Good question. So here is a simple thing. See, I told in the beginning that the root is we have to get integrity of our intention. We have to develop the ability that whatever we think and whatever we say and whatever we do, that comes in an alignment as much as possible. Okay. So try to play a simple game, and let's call it self-confidence game. Okay. Or willpower game, whatever game you want to name. And the game is simple. Till now, my mind is thinking that, oh, don't take this person seriously. So I have to now reverse the cycle. How do I reverse? I give myself small targets, maybe daily or weekly or bi-weekly, and I complete them. So simple target. This week, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., whatever it is. Give yourself the target and do that. I mean, any other thing you may miss, but don't miss that. Prove a point to your mind that इसने बोला था तो किया है, बंदे में दम है. That feeling should go. Okay. You can say, let us say if somebody is addicted to chocolates or coffee or tea, today no chocolate, today no tea, something. I'm not going to touch my phone on Thursdays, something like that. Okay. Either to give up something or to do something. Give yourself a commitment and then complete that commitment and look at your subconscious mind and give a smile. Look, I won. Okay. And then keep on gradually increasing this challenge. Okay. So maybe from 1 week to 10 days, it can. Make it a fad among yourself. Talk to your friends and ask me, hey, what's your game this week? Okay. Do some interesting things which are helpful for you. This entire week, I'll read half an hour every morning, Swamiji's, some of the good quotes or one particular book. This entire week, I'm going to sleep at 10 p.m. This entire week, I'm going to do meditation. Give only one. And once you complete one, then give second. And as you become more comfortable, then start taking multiple. Gradually, the more and more time you will do what you decide. It could be small 1 day, 2 day, 3 day task. As you do that, you see how your confidence will develop. And once that happens, even the character part will happen, because now whatever I'm deciding, I'm able to do it. So automatically the good vibes comes. I have to thank someone. I have to appreciate someone. You can create all these kind of small tasks for yourself, which will slowly become habit pattern for your subconscious. And that is the way to reverse this pattern. I have given you only one solution for one particular kind of thing, but this is the main thing for most people. Yes. One more question we'll take and then we'll stop.
Hello, sir.
Hi, sir.
Sir, how can we have clarity in our life? Means sometimes we feel that what our friends are doing are much more better than what we do. But when we try to adapt that, we feel the same that they are not doing. Matlab, means we feel the same thing. We get tired of that thing also.
So how do you
Can't
develop
continue
clarity?
that also.
Yeah, I got your point. Good question, and it's an important question. How do I develop clarity? See, my mind can think only from the data of what it has. So my experience, my life has taught me certain things. And because of that, I understand what is good, what is bad. The first thing is I have to appreciate it. What I know, that's not complete. That means I have to expand my horizon. I have to learn different ways of thinking, different ways of looking at the world. If you look at the Swamiji's life, young Narendranath, he was reading different philosophies. He was reading different kind of logics. He was reading even the modern history and the ancient history of Western countries. Why was he reading? And how did it help him? It helped him because he understood how a Westerner thinks. What is their worldview? He understood how different people think. And when he visited as a Parivajak, Brahmachari, Sannyasi in the beginning, he again saw the country from different perspective, because his life, childhood was extremely comfortable. Vishwanath Datta was very rich and well-to-do person. Only when he expired, things became tough for him. But then when he saw, he got the experience. With the experience and with the more and more exposure, and third thing, with the more and more contemplation, what we call it is, in Hindi, we call it manan, reflection. Reflection will turn your experience into insight. Make a note of it. Reflection will turn your experience into insight. I attended a class on steps to build self-confidence, on character building. Okay, I made my notes. I liked certain things. I did not like certain things. I made my notes. That is what? That is like eating food. I have eaten the food. Maybe I have understood. So I have digested the food. But that's not where the story ends. I have to assimilate the food. The food has to get inside my body and turn into human cells. Assimilation has to happen. Now, the knowledge what I have got today in the class, that knowledge it has gone inside. It has given me the understanding. But then I have to go through those notes and I have to ask my own questions around it. What do I make out of it? Do I agree with this point, whatever Mr. XYZ told? Do I disagree? When we do this contemplation, what happens? Out of an experience comes an insight. I went to a place, I went to Tirupati, I went by bus or I went by train or I went by a car and I did this, I did that, I did that. Whole thing happened, experience happened. I came back. Now, do I have the time to reflect? How did I go? What happened? What should I have done? Where I went wrong, where I went right? What should have been better? If I do this little bit of reflection on this, I get an insight. I think this is a better method than that. There is always a learning happens. Unfortunately, most people in today's world do not have time to do this contemplation. They want ready-made. So what happens when we do ready-made thing? When ready-made opinions are taken from people, we may sound very intelligent, but there will not be any conviction behind it because they are not my things. They are somebody's thing. Okay. And whenever it is somebody else's idea, my conviction is half. My conviction is not there. Okay. Anything is yours. My mother, my father, my brother, my organization. When you say my, there is a different kind of involvement. When it is somebody's, you may be concerned, but involvement is not that much. Whatever your ideas are there, whatever your understanding is there today, I should do computer engineering. Ask a question to yourself. Why do you conclude so? I should do UPSC. What makes you conclude so? So one answer is, everybody is doing that. Oh, see, collector's life is very good. See, IPS officer's life is very good. These are all things which are told to you by world. Have you examined? Okay, let me see a collector's office. Let me tomorrow go and look at a collector's office. Let me try to look at the place there. Maybe my father's friend who's a collector, let me visit in his office and try to talk to him. How is your life? Let me see the practical thing and then ask, will this life suit to me, my temperament? This is what I want. And you will get the real answer. First one was taken up answer, but now I'm exploring. So there is a time which life, experiences will teach you. Exposure. I was taking a session just last week to some of the lawyers and judges. I asked them a question that there are many 13, 14, 15-year young children, teenagers, who can drive a vehicle well. You give them a skill test, they will defeat many adults. They can drive very well. They can pass the license test. So do you think we should reduce the age of giving a license? Why should it be remaining to 18? There was some discussion, and to drive a point, I asked this question. And the answer came that no, we cannot give it before 18, not just because it's a law, but we should not give. Because even though I may have the skill, I don't have the exposure. I don't have the road exposure. I don't have the temperament. I don't have the patience. I don't know if there is an accident, how to handle road rage. I'm not seeing others enough. And therefore, I need that exposure. Even though I know how to drive a car, I need that exposure. Similarly, enrich your life with insights. And how do you get insight? Insights is insight, not from others. Not taking insights cannot come from YouTube. Okay, you can get an idea, but only when you churn it, contemplate it, that becomes insight. So please spend some dedicated time in contemplating. You watch something, you see something, after that give a thought process. How many books are you reading? See, Vivekananda got this exposure because he was reading philosophies. How many different kind of people you are meeting? Or I'm in a fixed pattern, tunneled vision. You know, my world is like this only. Just because my father was a government officer, my mother was a government officer, they have told me the world is getting into government job. There's a dream of so many people. They're still living into that tunneled vision. I'm not telling dream is good or bad. I'm telling they have not seen the world because that's what have been shown to them and they don't want to open it. So open and try to see different perspectives. Get enriched by experiences. Don't judge them. Just experience and then come to your conclusion. So Narendranath did it every time. You know, young Narendranath used to pray. He used to have a statue, not a statue, a picture of Sri Rama and Sita. Sita Ma and Sri Ram used to pray every day. One day he had a debate with his friend, and his friend convinced him, it's not Sita ji and Ram. It is Hanuman who was actually very powerful. He did everything. You know what, young Narendranath, he got convinced by his friend. He came, he removed the picture of Ram and Sita ji, and he kept Hanumanji and started praying Hanumanji. Later on, when he got associated with Brahmo Samaj, he thought, this idol worship is bad idea. Because he got, very much impressed by the idea of Brahmo Samaj. So he left idol worshipping. Then later on, as he evolved, he understood, what is the value of idol worshipping? Why we need some symbols in order to connect with something which we cannot, imagine without this thing. So he understood the concept and he again adopted to the idol worshipping. Now the point is, if somebody looks from outside, will say, Narendranath ko dimag nahi tha. Kabhi ye karta tha, kabhi wo karta tha. No. Thing is, the boy was honest to himself. He was not into copying. He was not foolishly consistent. There's a saying by Rolf Walden Emerson. He says, foolish consistency is a hobgoblin of weak mind. Weak mind say, I'm doing this because I have been doing this. I'm doing this because mere dada pardada ne kiya tha. No. You have to create your own understanding. Yes, while being humble, while being receptive, while giving respect to others' views and traditions and custom. I'm not telling to be a rebel and just disregard everything. But please see that you have your own understanding. That's where the clarity will come. It is a journey and it's a fascinating journey. Start getting into reflection, start asking questions, start seeking more and more experiences, start looking world from different viewpoints. That will give you a big picture of the world. Presently, I'm looking at my world like this. Take this little back and you will see a big picture. And that will give you a better idea, better clarity. I hope I made my point. I think we'll stop here. We have overshot the time.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Yes. Over to the
Very much,
moderator.
sir. Yes, sir. So your sessions are always an eye-opener. Thank you very much, sir. So we'll end the session, sir, with your permission by chanting a Shanti mantra. Om Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaः, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Jai Ram Krishna and Shubharatri to everyone. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much,
sir.
sir.
Thanks a lot.
sir.
Thank you.